to the senses. Penguin forward, Bjork executes a slide tackle and regains possession.
So I'm going to skip scene 5, you're suppressing dialogue, and scene 6, you're not following procedures, and get us right into scene 7, you're triggering violence. A group of us, and this is back in the fall of 2004, and the reminder, I'm going backwards, and this involves our megaphone choir, of which I brought 12 just in case. So just keep it in mind. A group of us, including my composer David Wall, staged a megaphone choir concert in Berry Hall to protest the notorious arrest and beating of 5 anti-occupation students by Toronto police officers. So when the administration tells us, oh, it's just a procedure and it's just neutral, we're inviting some Toronto police officers on the campus, that has all sorts of extra meanings for every one of us. The police were called in by President Marsden to break up a peaceful anti-occupation demonstration. And the police were given keys to a private room where they detained and beat the arrestees. A protest rally was called the following Thursday, and our megaphone choir was part of the proceedings, which included speeches by Judy Rebick and others, video footage of the beatings played on the walls, and 100 yellow organic megaphones, which were shared among 1,000 people gathered. If our first concert earlier that April, which we'll get to in a moment, had the Kumbaya ambience of Peter, Paul and Mary, this uprising of outrage had more in common with the clash in Trafalgar Square during the miners' strike. So this is a short video by 2 of my film students, done as an exercise for my 3rd year edit class, responding to they were given as an assignment a collection of footage from all this, and so this is their particular response. I'll just show a clip. Sorry, it's just taking time to rev up.
I just remember screaming something like, "Fuck off, why are you doing this to me," or something.
I go, "What the fuck is this?"
Most of this is complete blur because it was just so intense and so quick. All of a sudden I've got handcuffs on. I'm being dragged through the hallways back to this room. The biggest cop just like pulls us through the group, kind of as we just kind of like the alpha male of the group.
Watch this guy, he's about to hit somebody. Freedom to assemble!
These are just cops, they're trained fighters. They're kind of happy about the fact that they had just beaten up the faggy little students, bratty little rich kids or whatever they were calling us. It was like a bunch of bullies. But it has pretty much solidified my hatred for the cops.
A vigorous debate, this is in class following the screening of this work by the students, a vigorous debate about meanings, metaphor, sensationalism, and the depiction of violence kept us long past the end of our class. The majority of the students positioned themselves as in fact being against the protesters. I'm sad to report, typical of our film department's undergraduate group. And the big arguments about the dog metaphor was manipulative. But the thing that was exciting to see was that nobody could deny the power of the montage that Scott and David had created. And it was a rare moment when the complexities of Israeli apartheid fully entered the classroom as a debate, as a dialogue, with all the complexity that we know to expect, or we should expect. You're using an unauthorized amplification device. 6 months ago, 6 months earlier, so April 2004, York President Lorna Marsden banned student Daniel Freeman Malloy for 3 years from campus, invoking a 19th century practice of academic discipline known as rustication, where errant students are expected to retreat to the countryside or the future bakery to meditate on the error of their ways. His crime? The unauthorized use of an amplification device. In fact, this of course was the thing, it was of course the things he was saying, not how he was saying them. He was protesting with a megaphone the officially sanctioned Israeli Forces Appreciation Day, which featured booths in Berry Hall promoting the Israeli military. Oh, I'm doing better than I thought. That's never happened before. A number of us were outraged by this criminalization of amplified speech and felt a response in kind was called for. Thus, the megaphone choir was born, following the assumption that even President Marsden wouldn't dare arrest a choir. Designed for non-singers, such as myself, and led by composer David Wall, we created a score composed of quotes, poems, and headlines from, among other sources, that morning's paper, which recounted the Rafah massacre of 33 Palestinians by the Israeli army the day before. So this is an excerpt from Motet for Amplified Voices. So here's the causes they claim for trying to shut us down. You'll have to pay, you're infringing copyright, you're spouting hate speech, your boycott is censorship, you're not following procedures, you're triggering violence, you're using an unauthorized amplification device, etc. And here, of course, is the actual effect they want to achieve, the silencing of all criticism of Israel. Yet as we here at York gathered for our Israeli Apartheid Week, joining activists in, I think 80 was it? I think that's such an extraordinary achievement. Activists in 80 cities around the world, it seems to me that our narrative, which in turn engages the Palestinian narrative, has achieved the power and momentum of betrayal's innovative structure. Our movement engages both with the past and the present in a dynamic, productive dialectic, with both cause and effect being interrogated, deconstructed, and challenged. These accusations will, of course, continue. The strategies for suppressing us will continue to proliferate. But it's clear that here at York, our momentum is